I'm Julie Wilson. Here's a look at the last 2 weeks worth of stupid news. Before we get started, make sure you hit like, comment if you feel like it, maybe subscribe. And you can follow me on TikTok, where I post stupid news daily, and Instagram, where I post stupid news as I see fit. Let's get into it. Stupid news. I don't want to make jokes about this stupid news story because I know if the roles were reversed, we'd all be like, what the F? I've been doing a lot of this lately and I don't know why. So you can imagine I've been in quite the pickle as I've been trying to write this stupid news story while giving it a comedic twist. You just be the judge if it's funny or not. I don't know anymore. So there's this man, this woman, they live together, they're married, they've been married for 21 years and they live in Thailand. The husband says to his wife, hey honey, when you get home from work tonight, I will have made you a meal. Oh, that sounds good, right? Wrong. Cause you see, the problem is the husband forgot that he said he was gonna make a meal and instead went out and got wasted with his friends. Something tells me this is not the first time that the husband didn't keep his word and instead went out drinking with his friends based solely upon the response of the wife. So the wife waits up all night for her husband to come home, and when he gets home, she stabs him right in the junk with a spear gun. A damn spear gun! She then twists it, so you know she means business. The guy was so drunk, he didn't even realize how bad the stab wound to his wee-wee was until the next morning when he goes to the hospital and he has to have 17 stitches. Apparently the guy's gonna be just fine. We don't know if the wife is facing charges, but this is what gets me. It appears the two are gonna stay together, which at this point, why? Guys, Missouri Representative Brian Sitz. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, sir. He represents the fine folks of Taney County. That's where Branson is. Branson is the Las Vegas of the Midwest, if you're wondering. And Representative Bri, can I call you that? Okay, great. Wants it to be a Class A felony, which carries a minimum of no less than 10 years if a woman uses drugs that are trafficked to get rid of her ectopic pregnancy. House Bill 2180 was introduced on March 9th. Let's look at Section A, line 10, 14, and 15. The offense of trafficking abortion-inducing devices or drugs is a Class A felony if the abortion was performed or induced or attempted to be performed or induced on a woman who has an ectopic pregnancy. To me, it doesn't seem like Representative Silly Goose Brian understands what happens inside of the womb during an ectopic pregnancy. In a hearing, this representative said that an abortion could kill a woman. Well, Representative Bri, I can guarantee you an ectopic pregnancy is way more likely to do that. In fact, some studies show that an abortion medication is 14 times safer than childbirth. And listen, I'm not running my mouth for or against abortion. I'm running my mouth around the idea that if you're making laws for or against ectopic pregnancy, at least know how the charcuterie board works. I'm running my mouth for facts. So I'm gonna break it down specifically for him. So Representative Bri, this is a vagina. Something I'm sure you've probably never seen, and on behalf of all women, thank you. When ejaculation happens from the male pee-pee, sperm travels through the vagina, through the cervix, into the woman's uterus. And this is the go-go zone where life can happen. You see, if there's an egg inside of that uterus, the sperm's gonna swim to it like it's Michael Phelps trying to get his 12th gold medal at the Olympics. They're gonna weasel their way inside of that egg, and then it becomes fertilized, attaching to the uterine wall. When this happens, the pregnancy is viable. Viable, Representative Bri, means capable of working successfully. Feasible. But sometimes an ectopic pregnancy happens. An ectopic pregnancy is when a fertilized egg attaches in the no-no zones. Most often, that happens in the fallopian tube. The fallopian tube is what connects the ovaries to the uterus. When it occurs in the fallopian tube, this is called a tubal pregnancy. An ectopic pregnancy is not viable. The fertilized egg cannot survive. If the tubal pregnancy proceeds, it can erupt, and that can be fatal to the mom. In fact, ectopic pregnancies represent 10% of maternal deaths. Oh, great. So Representative Bri, I know sometimes words are big and hard. I'm sure big and hard's something that you're not used to hearing from a woman's mouth. But please, if you don't know the meaning and the implications of certain words and what that could mean, don't write them into your silly Billy Goose laws. Stupid news. Guys, this stupid news talk is more a lesson in words. A PSA, a public service announcement, if you will. So this is Icky Dude PUTIN. This is a delicious Canadian delicacy of French fries topped with cheese curds and brown gravy. Poutine. Don't confuse the two, you yucks. So there's a chain of French restaurants that has the Canadian delicacy on their menu. But hold on. They've been getting calls of threats and insults because of the poutine on the menu. People are confusing it for Putin. Putin. Turns out the French translation for Putin is the same as Poutine. Oh, President Putin. My French accent's not great. In fact, they were getting so much trouble they had to put out a statement on social media explaining that Poutine was born in Quebec back in the 1950s, and they go on to voice their support for the people of Ukraine. But hold on, there's another restaurant involved in this mix, and it's in Canada, where Poutine was born. They have pulled Poutine from their menu as a symbolic way to denounce Russia. So now a Canadian restaurant is pulling a Canadian dish from the Canadian people because people who have the brain capacity of a dried out piece of macaroni are confusing a dish with French fries, brown gravy, and cheese curds with the leader of Russia. Make it make sense! Stupid news. Disclaimer, as a pickle fan, I cannot and will not condone the following behaviors. Allegedly? Supposedly? I mean, she's not been found guilty in a court of law, but I mean, it's looking like it happened. A teacher bit some students over a jar of pickles. That's not what you were expecting me to say, I'm sure of it. You want to know the details? Of course you do, you little scoundrel. You naughty. This happens in Florida, of course it does. So apparently 2 kids, they were working in the school store when the teacher came up and took the jar of pickles. The 2 kids, they tried to take the jar back. Is this teacher also stealing? Seems like stealing. As the kids try to snatch the jar of pickles back, the teacher bites them on the forearm. I'm gonna need a pickle back after reading this story. The kids, by the way, are like 15, which I don't know why, but in my mind that makes this story a little bit more creepy. The teacher tells administration that she was just playing around with the kids, just playing around. Oh, I was just playing. That makes it better. So I was reading that she's no longer with the school. Big shocker. She was placed on administrative leave while they did an investigation. After the investigation, she was put on a 3-day suspension and then transferred to another school. So you're telling me that the teacher shortage is so real in the state of Florida that a teacher can bite a kid over a jar of pickles and the school system's not even like, you know what, maybe sit out a year. The state attorney's office has filed misdemeanor charges. Stupid news. I don't really know how to process this story. So in Mississippi, MISSISSIPPI, there's this assistant principal. Or at least there was, because he got fired. Oh, why? What did he do? Did he bite some kids over a jar of pickles? See yesterday's stupid news story. No. He did not. He read a children's book called I Need a New Butt to a class of 2nd graders. Prior to this, he'd been waiting for the principal to show up to the classroom, but she had been running behind. No pun intended. So she tells him, hey, just read to the classroom. So he grabs a book. The book is I Need a New Butt, which is an adventure story about a boy who thinks he needs a new butt because his is broken. It has a crack in it. Ba-bum. After that, the assistant principal gets called to the principal's office and is told that parents might complain. Well, he's never had an issue with this book. You see, he read it to kids at the school he used to work at. He was told to report to the district office and then was put on administrative leave. Oh boy. The school didn't like it that the book had inappropriate words like butt and fart. I've definitely heard way worse out of 2nd graders. It also showed a cartoon of a child's butt. His termination letter said that he showed a lack of professionalism and impaired judgment when he picked that book. Can you just imagine the assistant principal's next job interview? Let's role play it out. So, assistant principal from the other school, why did you get fired from your previous position? Oh, I read a book to 2nd graders and the words butt and fart were in it. Like something else had to have happened, right? Stupid. So retailers, like Walgreens, they've been switching out the doors on their freezers and fridges for screens to show the contents inside. And people are like, no, I don't like it. It's supposed to create an additional revenue stream with advertising plus modernize the shopping experience. But people are like, no, I don't like it. And I get it. People are slow to change. But for me, I don't want to see another screen. Screens are everywhere. I talk to a screen all day. I'm looking at a screen all day. I just want something to be real. And gosh darn it, when I go to the Walgreens down the street at night to rifle through their Ben & Jerry's selection, I don't want to see another screen. I want to feel the cold when I open the door to examine the internal contents. I want the door to then fog over as I close it as an act of rebellion. I don't want another screen. People don't want another screen. We just want it to be real. Stupid. Send my Oscar to my radio station. I don't trust my neighbors. Stupid news. If I'm being honest, I don't know if this falls under stupid news or good news because on one hand, I have a morning radio show. Shameless plug. It's called The Julie Wilson Show on 92.9 The Beat. And I hate losing any amount of sleep because I already get up so early. But this story could also fall in the good news category because maybe we won't lose time ever again. So yesterday, the Sunshine Protection Act unanimously passed the Senate. It could mean by 2023, we stop changing the clocks. Now it still has to pass through the House before it gets to the president's desk. Supporters say this is good for kids because they're gonna have more daylight after school to play around and it'll help with seasonal depression. Basically, all of America has had daylight saving time since the 1960s. And no, Note, it's daylight saving time. Savings is not plural, there's no S. I used to work with a meteorologist who would completely lose his crap if you said daylight savings time. So, good news, stupid news? I don't know where to put this one. Stupid news. For the first time in stupid news history, I feel it's only fair that we rebrand stupid news to genius news for one time only. So a guy in Texas made $75,000 in 11 months by suing telemarketers. One second, I need to make a phone call. Yes, excuse me, boss man. I'm quitting my job, leaving my morning radio show. Why? I can make money suing telemarketers. I'm doing the Lord's work. So Dan Graham, is that a stage name? Because I love it. Was absolutely sick of it. No, he did not need to extend his car warranty. No, he doesn't need your life insurance. No, his computer's not broken. Stop calling him. So he not only was on the do not call list, but he had also filed complaints with the Better Business Bureau, the BBB, and all that did nothing. So he started suing telemarketers for breaking the law. He sued one company and they settled because they had in fact broke the Federal Telephone Consumer Protection Act. In 11 months, he filed 50 lawsuits, winning $75,000 in settlement. Dan said a lot of the companies didn't even know it was happening because they hired outside contractors for marketing, and then when they found out, they made some business changes. Not until after they had to pay him money. Dan is the hero we need, but don't deserve. Genius news! Stupid news. Gas prices. That's it. That's the stupid news. I filled up my gas tank one day, and then 4 days later, the prices had jumped 40 cents per gallon. Do I look like a millionaire to you? So who's to blame for this debacle? So when the panorama starts, talking about the pandemic, the need for gas drops, along with it, oil production. And then Russia, a major oil producer, wants to be an unflushed turd, boom, sanctions. But those aren't the only fools to blame in this. And honestly, it's complicated. I read what felt like 1 billion articles this morning, so I'm gonna try to boil it down to the nuggets of why we're in this predicament. Aside from the previously mentioned, of course. So from what I can gather, for years, oil companies can't manage money. But also, people are trying to completely blame President Joe Biden for his administration's policy on the Keystone Pipeline, plus leases on oil and gas. And all the previously mentioned are all the elements that you need for one thing: conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theorists are saying this is all a ploy. They just want you to buy electric vehicles. I don't know if that's true, but I do think this. I say we're in a new pandemic, and you know what's ill? Our wallets. So instead of returning to the office to please the retail space lease gods, we continue to work from home until we can afford to commute and buy groceries. Stupid news. So, Starby says they're getting rid of disposable cups by 2025. Pretty lofty goal there, Starbucks. Their leading idea to get rid of disposable cups is paper cups. Starbucks says they saw how much we all love paper straws, and that's the future for them. Just kidding, that's not their leading idea. But I had you going for a second, didn't I? Starbucks is actually leaning into the idea of reusable cups. I got my own dishes at home, Starbucks. I don't want to be doing your dishes too. The idea is customers would pay $1 deposit to take the reusable cup, and then they would get that deposit back when they return it. But have you ever bought a mug at Starbucks? It's like 13 bucks. You mean to tell me I can now get a Starbucks cup for a George Washington? What a deal. Other ideas include allowing customers to bring in their own cups, but I don't know what's gonna happen. And that's it. That's a stupid news for the week.